This is Guru Focus First Look, your morning market brief for Tuesday, July 21. Here are the stories driving markets today. General Motors reported second quarter adjusted earnings per share of $3.57 on revenue of $48 billion, surpassing expectations and prompting the company to raise its full-year profit forecast to a range of $14 to $16 billion. The automaker cited robust demand for pickups and SUVs and also declared a dividend of 18 cents per share. This performance comes as GM continues to navigate supply chain challenges and shifting consumer preferences.
Turning now to the broader markets, U.S. stock futures rose in pre-market trading, with the Nasdaq leading gains as investors looked ahead to major earnings reports and chip stocks rebounded from recent declines. The positive sentiment follows a period of volatility in the technology sector and heightened geopolitical risks. Also making news today, Apple briefly reclaimed its position as the world's most valuable company, surpassing NVIDIA in market capitalization. The shift reflects investor uncertainty about the sustainability of high valuations in the artificial intelligence sector.
Meanwhile, oil prices climbed sharply after President Donald Trump vowed to retaliate against Iran following attacks on U.S. service members. This escalation in Middle East tensions pushed oil prices up more than 15% over the past week, fueling concerns about global energy supplies. On the energy front, the national average price for gasoline in the U.S. rose above $4 per gallon, driven by the surge in oil prices and renewed U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran. The increase marks the highest level for gas prices so far this year.
Another story we're watching is the rise of Chinese artificial intelligence models, with Moonshot and Alibaba unveiling open-source offerings that rival leading U.S. products. These models deliver similar results at lower costs, though they operate at slower speeds, intensifying global competition in the AI space. Staying with artificial intelligence, the launch of advanced Chinese models has sparked debate among U.S. policymakers and tech leaders over how to respond to open-source competition, highlighting growing divisions over national security and innovation policy.
Turning to corporate news, the European Commission fined AliExpress, owned by Alibaba, a record €550 million, or approximately $629 million, for failing to prevent the sale of illegal, unsafe, and counterfeit goods on its platform. In legal developments, Anthropic received final court approval for a $1.5 billion settlement, resolving authors' copyright claims related to the use of their works in AI training data. This marks the first major settlement of its kind in the artificial intelligence industry. Elsewhere, AMC Entertainment shares surged after the company reported record quarterly revenue. The CEO pushed back against negative forecasts for the theater industry, citing strong box office performance.
Jamie Dimon, CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase, cautioned that investors may be underestimating global risks, stating he would not buy stocks or treasuries at current valuations. His remarks come amid ongoing uncertainty in global markets. Now, let's turn to economic data. New figures show Miami has surpassed New York City as the most expensive U.S. city to live in, driven by soaring housing and insurance costs, despite Florida's tax advantages. The U.S. Department of Energy has proposed changes to its Energy Conservation Standards rulemaking process, a move the appliance industry says could help lower costs for homeowners.
Finally, today's earnings calendar includes reports from Danaher, Capital One Financial, Marsh, 3M, and Northrop Grumman, with analysts expecting a range of results across the industrial, financial, and defense sectors. That wraps up today's market update. We'll be back soon with the latest market news. Thanks for listening to the Guru Focus Brief.